Oh, sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. I tend to get distracted by this thing, the device that everybody seems to have, a smartphone. The smartphone has seen so many innovations and improvements in its technology, like hardware, software, and display technology, that it's very easy to see why it's such a common tool amongst everyone today. And we're on the cusp of another great innovation within the smartphone technology, folding phones. I'm going to show you the early history of folding phones and some of the flaws behind the earlier folding phones, the technology behind it so you can understand those flaws, and the current models on folding phones to see how that technology is steadily improving and how the field of folding phones is looking to become more steady than ever before. To note, folding phone technology has been in development for quite some time with various early demos, but the closest thing, the actual first foldable smartphone, was the Royal FlexPi, revealed in 2018, came out later in 2019. To quote Android Central in 2020, before any mainstream tech company was ready to show a folding phone, we had the Royal FlexPi. Royal is a Chinese electronics brand that was founded in 2012. And while you may not have ever heard of the company, it's noteworthy for the fact that the FlexPi was the world's first folding smartphone. And being first in a field can be great for many reasons, for the innovation, for the inspiration, for many such things. It doesn't mean that you're going to be the best. The Royal FlexPi is known for many issues in its durability and within its software. The next notable mainstream foldable phone to be sold in the markets was the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold, in which case, instead of opening outwards like a backwards notebook like the Royal FlexPi, it opens and closes inwards like a regular book, as you see on the left with it closed, in the middle with it completely open, and on the right is just the backing of the device. The device was to be released in April of 2019, but it was delayed to September of 2019 due to many issues with the hinges, the display, and the durability of the device overall. So even when it took time to re-release in September 2019, it came out with these controversies still at the forefront. Another notable smartphone is the Huawei Mate X, in which, while it was only released in China, it is still a notable foldable smartphone to talk about. The Huawei Mate X was announced a little bit after the Galaxy Z Fold and came out a little bit after as well, having a similar design to the FlexPi that folds outwards completely, with the screen fully encompassing the device when closed. It had various issues with its durability relating to the hinge, and some relating to the fact that the device was fully wrapped around like that. It was a lot easier to scratch the screen rather than something like a closed phone or a normal smartphone. The next type of folding phone is the folding flip phone, in which case it's called that because it flips closed vertically, like the older flip phones that were around before smartphones, in which case the Motorola Razr was marketed after one of their older flip phones. Anyhow, the two most notable examples of this type are the Galaxy Z Flip and the Motorola Razr. Although they came out after the three previously mentioned devices, they had issues similarly to those devices still. Like, for example, the Motorola Razr had an issue where if you flipped it open in normal ways, it would just make a creaky noise instead of silence. And you may be wondering what makes a folding smartphone special. What's the thing that companies are messing up on? What's possibly the reason why they are having issues? Well, the most unique parts of a folding smartphone are the display and the hinges. To go on the display, most modern folding smartphones have an AMOLED display. And to explain an OLED display, I have a quote from a video transcription from Business Insider in 2019. One of the things that happens with an AMOLED screen is that the pixels, the light portion of the screen that emits light or that displays an image, is actually built into the screen itself, so that the LEDs are on the actual screen technology instead of being behind it and projecting through a glass pane. So, for example, instead of it being behind a glass pane, if you were to put it on a thin piece of plastic with the technology directly interacting with it, you could make it fold and bend in whatever such direction, like the image shown, and that is how the screen works for a folding phone. The next most important part is the hinges, in which case the hinges need to be quality. They need to be tested over and over and over again to last the test of time and last for years to come. In which case you might be thinking, now that you understand this technology behind the older folding phones, you may be dissuaded by by the shortcomings of these folding phones. But the newer folding phones that have come out just a year after these versions have seemed to try and improve these problems in various ways while also innovating on the types of folding phones available in the market to begin with as well. And to start off with that discussion is the Galaxy Fold 2, which in comparison to the original device, it has an improved hinge which stops debris and other things from getting into the hinge, improved plastic fronting on the inner display as shown on the right that is harder to peel off, as well as telling customers not to do that, and not having a notch in the right side of the device. An example of the Motorola Razr 5G, which this version is a year older from the previous one, it has an improved hinge that does not make as weird a sound when it opens, it doesn't creak, and the display on the outside is a little bit bigger if you have a need to multitask or get something done without needing to open the display. And another type of folding phone is the Microsoft Surface Duo. While this type of design is seen in something like phone cases, an actual phone with two separate displays that folds is still a new concept. It folds inwards like a book, and then outwards as you see in the middle image, and then backwards as you can see on the right image. This design is noted for its durability and for the quality of it. It's one of the best designs noted from many reviewers. But also noted from many reviewers is the buggy software that released with it being the only real con of the device. To summarize, folding smartphones have had a rocky start. They've had many sorts of issues, and even more current folding phones have had some of these issues. But with the various improvements on many different companies' fronts to improve this technology and get it ready for consumers, with how fast these improvements are coming, with how efficient these improvements are coming, the future of folding phones is looking brighter than ever.